Wasn't he inspiring? That was so great, Josh. You inspire me so much. Janice, thank you so much for your service as well. We're so lucky to have these Californians, these leaders. It was such an honor to be in the garden and volunteer today in Fresno as we celebrate and extend our tremendous gratitude to all of California for giving us 4 more years of service. Although, of course, you don't have to be in public. Yes, exactly. But of course, you don't have to be in public office to be in service. So that's really what today is about. But during these tough and all too divisive times, service connects us. And it reminds us to look beyond ourselves and our perceived differences to our common humanity, to that which binds us. I like to call it going from me to we, where we elevate service to create a culture of selflessness and a culture of community, a culture that values our collective over just the individual. It's not taken away from the individual, but it's more about community and the collective. California Volunteers is such a shining example of me to we and a reminder that our commitment to service is at the core of what makes California so special. We truly care about each other in California, and we know that we are stronger together. I'm so proud to serve as co-honorary chair of Cal Volunteers and to work with Josh and team. The work we're doing through the remarkable College Corps, Climate Corps, AmeriCorps, and the Youth Jobs Corps is deeply ingraining the values of service and me to we in California's infrastructure. We're institutionalizing it. It's impactful, and it's beyond inspiring. And it's so special, again, as Josh mentioned, to be here to serve the community on the eve of Veterans Day, a day that it was set aside to honor the selfless sacrifice of this country's service members. 2 of my uncle and my grandfather were in the service, and also to honor the families who supported them, like my grandmother and my aunt and my nieces, as they bravely served and protected us all, truly embodying the spirit of me to we. So I have so much gratitude to Josh and team, and Josh especially for your service in the military. And now I'm just so proud and happy to introduce my husband, Governor Gavin Newsom, who I know is beyond proud of Josh, the team, and all of Californians' commitment to service and to each other. Thank you.
Thank you. But first, I would like to introduce the mayor of Fresno, because we'd be remiss as a former mayor, once a mayor, always a mayor. Mr. Mayor, I want to just thank you for being here, and maybe you can just share a few thoughts. Sorry to put you on the line there.
Thank you, Governor. And I'm going to keep my comments brief, but let me just say this. We're fortunate today to have the governor and the first partner here in Fresno. He could have been doing a lot of things. They could have, after the election, like many elected officials, are out somewhere else, maybe going to Hawaii or enjoying it. But for whatever reason, the governor and the first partner chose to be right here in Fresno, working side by side, planning and doing all the things that make this community special. But it's not by choice that he's here. Well, it is by choice, but not by chance. It's because I think Fresno is something very, very important to the governor, the conversation I have with him. The entire valley is very important to him. And the fact that we have already rallied together, locked arms, and volunteered with thousands and thousands and thousands of volunteers as part of our Beautify Fresno program and so many more, that's why he's here today. And I want you to know that I got the award today for the best dressed farmer in California. Because the governor has a way of just saying, hey, why don't you stop by, like at 8:30 in the morning, come by at 10. So I was already at an event, but it's my honor to be able to stand here, to kneel, to plant with the governor and the first partner, because this is very, very special. And I hope all of you know how fortunate we are to be chosen to be the place where the governor chose to be here today to provide his service to our community. So thank you, guys. God bless you. Governor, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And Look, it's great to be back, and look, it's pretty obvious we're big fans of your mayor. I've been bragging on him up and down this state, and I think his presence here today sort of symbolizes the spirit that brings us all here today, and that is that we're all in this together. That we're going to share the future. Divorce is not an option, and at the end of the day, after these hard-fought elections where everybody's seemingly going at each other and you wonder, can it get much worse? We're here to remind everybody it can get much better, that we have the capacity to live together, to advance together, and prosper together across every conceivable difference. And that's not just political differences. It's differences that tend to divide us by class, race, by region up and down this state. And so I'm back here with intention, with purpose, not only in admiration and respect to the leadership here in Fresno, but to the people of the city and the county and this region. My last stop before the election was Central Valley, was there in Merced. I said, I'll be right back. I meant it, and I'll continue to come back. It's not about elections. It's not about votes. It's about policy. It's about principle. It's about values. And the people in this valley deserve better leadership from the state and the federal government. You deserve more, and we're here in that spirit to enliven your confidence in Sacramento, that we have your back, that you matter, we care. And I don't think there's a better way of expressing that sentiment than not just showing up, but showing you mean it by doing something. And I think what Josh has put together over the course of the last few years is really something special. And I want to put it in perspective, and I don't want to take up too much time, but I want to put it in perspective. What California has achieved already because of Josh's leadership is something extraordinary. It doesn't exist in any other state in America. We now have twice the volunteer corps that the Peace Corps has just here in the state of California. Think about that. It's amazing. I mean, we had a lot of great volunteer programs that were done at the local level, but nothing that was organized at the state level. I had the privilege just a few weeks ago to swear in. This is just a proof point, a demonstrable proof point. I had the privilege of swearing in. We had people virtually all up and down the state of California, hundreds of people that showed up in Sacramento. We actually did a swearing in for a cohort of 3,250 volunteers, now service members, that have committed 450 hours of service. And in return for 450 hours of service, we're going to be providing $10,000 grant to their education. What's remarkable about this program, that's the College Corps program, is that close to 2/3 of these service members, they're the first generation to go to college. And giving them that opportunity and pathway, not just to receive something, but to do something in return, is the spirit that I think we need to advance in this state, in this nation. I've been inspired. Many of you heard me talk a lot about Sarge Shriver. He's my political hero. He's the one who started the Peace Corps. He and his wife started Special Olympics. Sarge Shriver was the Kennedy you all forgot about, and probably had more impact in terms of social justice, racial justice, than anyone that's ever served in this country. And I'm going to include a lot of presidents in that respect. Started Legal Aid to the Poor, and Vista, Head Start, Early Head Start, all these things Sarge had in common. He was the one who got the call famously from Johnson, said, you want to start this thing called the War on Poverty. Literally, it was initiated. It was an idea, and they had to actually make real. But he talked about just handouts being cheap grace. And that's a sentiment that I share. We've got to ask for something in return. And I think it's really important. We're providing these $10,000 stipends, but we want something in return. And what we get in return is exponential. It's order of magnitude. It's not just the 450 hours. It's how these young people inspire others of like mind. And that's a multiple. And that's about a community as well. Building a community, building a spirit of contribution, shared experiences. We're so polarized, and we're so pulled apart in our social media, in our virtual world, and increasingly in our own lived reality. We don't know our neighbors like we used to. I mean, Halloween may be the last great communitarian event, but sadly, everybody who's out there has a mask on. And so we got to take those masks off, and we've got to start living together in a way we frankly have struggled in the last few decades. So that's the why, if you want to know why I'm here. I'm here out of respect, admiration, and we're here with a deep desire to address this dignity deficit and to recognize that we're all on a journey for belonging. All of us on a journey for belonging. We all want to be protected, respected, and we all feel the need to be connected to something bigger than ourselves. And so I want to just thank my wife, first partner, for her inspiration on these programs. She's demanding more of this. That's why she's here. And I'm grateful to her and her leadership, this remarkable Family Resource Center and all the great work that you do, pulling all these pieces together, to the mayor, to Josh and his team, and most importantly, to all of these remarkable people, regardless of time of life, these young folks that are out here volunteering and all of these different core groups. We thank them as well for being here, and we thank you. And with that, we are happy to either go back to work or answer any questions that you may have.
Hi, Governor. Good morning. Laura Diaz with the Fresno Bee. You were talking about how divorce is not an option and coming here to unify the community. Getting a bit more specifics in Fresno, so far 56% of Fresnans have voted for Brian Dale. So in your case, in your office, how does that unity look like? What does that represent?
Well, I mean, election day is behind us. My job is to govern. My job is to express gratitude for everybody that voted, and also let everybody know that voted against me, that I have their backs. I don't turn my back on people just because I disagree with them. I have a responsibility to them, as I do to the people that were kind enough to turn out and vote for us. I made that point before the election. I'll make it after the election. I have the privilege of a lifetime. I get to be governor of now the 4th largest economy on planet Earth, the most diverse and largest state, the most diverse and largest democracy in the world. And, I just think we're all better off, and we're all better off. And my job here is to prove that, not just to assert that.
What do you say to parents who have kids that are on the fence about coming to volunteer and about getting a grant?
You know what sometimes when you're in a sour mood, nothing bothers me more than looking at volunteers, because they're always so damn happy. It's like the volunteers are the happiest people in the world. I mean, it really is. I remember my mom used to say when I was a kid, stop moping, just get out and do something. And she was right, and get out and volunteer. Jerry made the point, the mayor made a point of, about being in a suit and, getting down on his knees. But you know what? It's true. Those that bend down on one knee, they're the tallest people in the world when they pick someone else up. And I just think that's a spirit that we should teach all our kids. And I love what Josh said. It's not just about young folks. It's our experience corps. We call it senior corps. I think it's experience corps. Our seniors, perhaps, are the most, remarkable mentors and tutors in sharing their passion and their history through action and service. That's a powerful thing, and we'll be talking a lot more about that as well, not just these youth corps, but our experience corps and senior corps as well.
Any more questions?
Yes, over here. Good morning.
Good morning.
I found out about this the last time.
That's how we do a lot of things. I apologize. Just, yeah, welcome to it.
Governor and Mrs. Newsom, we're so happy to have you coming. I almost said worship. Come and be with us today.
It's an honor.
And the mayor and Josh, thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity. I hope that Josh and Mayor, that you will give the governor and Mrs. Newsom a tour of the west side before they leave, to see that we are so badly in need of services, resources.
Yep.
For this area has been neglected for years and years and years. We're still asking for services just like other parts of town.
Yep.
Especially the north.
I get it.
Northeast parts of town. So I would appreciate it, Mayor Dyer and Josh,
Yeah.
to give them a tour.
No, I appreciate it. The Golden West. I like it. The Golden West. Well, one thing I can promise you, if past is prologue, that you don't have to worry about your mayor holding me at a higher level of accountability in terms of supporting people throughout this city and this region. He's been a champion for everybody, particularly those that have been forgotten. And I say that not just rhetorically. I can tell you there are a number of programs. The Fresno Drive Initiative and other things that you guys are doing is all about empowering communities and about addressing those gaps. And California is stepping in with more support than we've ever provided in the past. Anybody else? Yeah.
Question. Hi, thank you so much for being here with us today. First of all, I'm Cassandra with ABC 30 here in Fresno. You mentioned elections are behind us, and I understand.
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly, right? I understand next is probably a lot of service, right? Are there any plans for debates, in particular, Florida governor?
Oh, geez, debates. That was kind of debate. I'm like, we're done with debates. Well, I offered to debate him. He decided to turn me down, but it's clear he's got other ambitions. Look, I like, you know what? I'm really proud of what happened here in California. And I'm also proud we asserted our values and our freedoms, you know. This is a state that embraces freedom. This is a state that embraces all our interesting differences. And I think the spirit that unites us today is the spirit of patriotism as well, the things that bind us together. And I think it's important that as we celebrate those interesting differences, we remind people that we're, as Dr. King said, all bound together by a web of mutuality. And I think if there's something from my party that we've got to think about a little bit more, is expressing that a little bit more clearly. That, you know, it's not just about you. It's the context of you to the rest of us. And so when I heard Josh use the word patriotism over and over again, that's a word that we can't just use on the eve of Veterans Day. That's a word we need to express more often. And so it's in that spirit of patriotism that we're here. Love of state, love of country, love of this dream that's unique to only one state in America. There's the American dream and the California dream. No other state attaches itself to a dream, and I'm not giving up on the dream. I'm not giving up on this state, and I'm not giving up on our values. Family, freedom, deep faith in one another, and fairness. Fairness. Not everybody feels they're getting fair shake, and we've got work to do in that space as well. Thank you all very, very much for being out here.